Hey everybody, welcome back to the Central Texas High School Football Huddle. That's right, I'm your host Chris Daly, and each week in the Centex Huddle, I bring you all kinds of great news and information about Central Texas High School football. The Centex Huddle is brought to you by Fat Cow Jerky. Unlike some other jerky brands, they craft their beef jerky with 100% beef, and you can taste it. They use the lean cuts of meat, slice them into strips, and then marinate with select ingredients and a unique blend of herbs and spices that make for an incredible flavor. And talk about flavor, these guys have it. When you open a bag of Fat Cow Jerky, you get a taste of American ingenuity, perfected recipes, and a passion for making the ultimate flavored meat snacks. Fat Cow Jerky is a small business with a big heart and a love for high-quality, delicious snacks. The whole thing is a great story, too, because Ron, the owner, he was just your average Joe Hardhat. In fact, he was a construction worker that really enjoyed beef jerky. His search for the best ones led him to start creating his own. His friends and family gobbled him up and begged for more, and that eventually became Fat Cow Jerky. There is an amazing selection of flavors that you have to taste to believe. Fat Cow Jerky is utterly perfect. Find your next favorite flavor at fatcowjerky.com. We're also brought to you by State Farm agent Corey Pack. State Farm agent Corey Pack is a proud supporter of Texas high school football and the Central Texas High School Football Huddle. For insurance on all the things that matter, you can count on Corey Pack from State Farm. I've known Corey for several years now, and I tell you, there is nobody better to handle your insurance needs. You can call or text him to receive a quote, 512-268-7225, or go online to CoreyPack.com to connect with him. And as they say, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Week 1 of the Texas high school football season is here, yes. And one of the best places to see Texas high school football is in Central Texas. Let me give you kind of the lowdown on what I'm going to be doing each week in this show. I'm going to be covering, like I mentioned, teams from all over Central Texas, but it's not going to be just me rambling about it. I will have guests. I will have coaches. I will talk about the most important issues, but I'm going to rely on you folks to help direct this show. And you can do that best by calling the voicemail line, 713-568-6361. You call that, it'll record up to 3 minutes, and you just share what you want to see covered here. Let's start by running down some of the teams we're going to be paying attention to this year. Now, this is by no means a comprehensive list. These are just some that I pulled out for this first episode. Obviously, one of the top-ranked teams in the country, the top-ranked team in Texas, is Austin Westlake. And I tell you, I did not get an interview with their new coach. Instead, seeing them ranked like that, I wanted to call Coach Todd Dodge, the former coach who recently retired, and just kind of see what is his story, what is going on with him now, and does this kickoff to football season have the same feel for him, or what it is that he's doing with his life. So I gave him a call today, and here's just a little bit of our conversation.
I am spending time with grandchildren.
Nice.
I am playing some golf about 2 or 3 times a week. I'm doing honeydews around the house, and then I'm traveling about once every 10 days to go see my mother.
Oh, excellent. And where's that? Have anybody been reaching out to you from Westlake saying, hey, you know, I need to know about this or I need to know about that, or are they just shut the door to themselves out?
No, I have, you know, when it, back in the springtime, I went to one of their practices and then I went to the spring game. Tried to really just kind of stay away and and let Tony, who was replacing me as the head coach, and let Kirk Rogers, who was replacing me as the play caller, just kind of let them have their space. They've both been with me a long time, but I talk with both of them, Tony Salazar and just probably 2 or 3 times a week, and sometimes I'm just calling to check in, see how everybody's doing. Sometimes they'll call to ask me what I would do in this situation or what I think about this, and so I appreciate them still thinking about me in that way.
Right. And what about some of your former players? Who do you stay connected with?
Very connected with Sam Ellinger. Very connected with Cade Klubnik. Talk to both of those guys 3 times a week. Very connected with Connor Robertson, offensive lineman at Texas. Pretty connected to Nakia Watson, running back at Washington State. And then I keep in touch with all of them. I'll text all of them from time to time. Just let them know I'm thinking about them.
I love it. So you mentioned grandbabies. How many do you have?
I have 3 with 1 on the way. My daughter, my son Riley, and my daughter-in-law Alexis have 3 children. It's Tate, Landry, and Blakely, and that's 7, 4, and 2. And then Molly, my daughter, and her husband Weston have a baby boy on the way here in the middle part of October.
Sweet. Yeah, we've got our 7th one due in November. Crazy.
Oh, I tell you what, they're so much fun.
Oh yeah, they are the best. You get to play, get them all wound up, and hand them back.
Exactly.
Well, cool, Coach. Like I said, I didn't want to keep you long. I just wanted to check in, see how things are going, and see if you're going to get a chance to see any high school football.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to. Matter of fact, I just called Hank Carter just a while ago. Hank, we compete against each other. When he's at Lake Travis, I called, let him know I was going to be watching them tomorrow night.
Nice.
This weekend, I'm going to watch Riley's team play on Friday night at South Lake, and then the following week, week 2, I'm going to travel to San Antonio to watch Westlake play Judson. Yeah, and then Elizabeth and I are going to take one of the things I've really been looking forward to, Chris, is doing a road trip during the fall. A time of year I would never ever have a chance to just leave and drive. So we're headed on. We're going to watch Cade and the Clemson Tigers play on September 17th. But we're going to leave about 5 days before the game and just kind of take our time getting there and go see places we've never seen. And then after it's over with, we're going to take our time coming back. So,
well, I love it. That's what retirement's all about, right?
That's exactly right.
All right, Coach. It's good to talk to you, man, and definitely stay in touch. Yeah, definitely. So Todd Dodge, you knew he wasn't going to completely walk away from football. There's going to be a lot of football in his life, but he's going to take it at his pace, and I love that. Being a grandfather myself, I love time with grandbabies. Let's talk about some of the other teams we'll cover. Obviously, we'll cover Lake Travis. They're going to have a good team. San Antonio Brennan, Austin Vandegrift, Cibolo Steel, College Station, A&M Consolidated, Smithson Valley. And I tell you, this is one of my favorite programs. I have to admit that when I started this thing almost 20 years ago, my very first coach interview was with Coach Larry Hill from Smithson Valley, who at the time had already built an amazingly consistent winning program, the Smithson Valley Rangers. So again, I picked up the phone and talked to him today, and here's a little bit of our conversation. Opening week, what's the focus right now for you guys?
Well, I think more on ourselves than anyone. I think most people approach it like that, just getting ready for the first game, all the little situational type things that can pop up and penalties and turnovers and mental mistakes. Not that those can't happen anytime, but typically you see more of that in the early part of the year. So, just eliminating the mistakes that can get you in the bind.
Who have you seen this off season that you're surprised at and you're thinking, wow, we're really good in this area?
Well, we have high hopes for all of our players, so I don't know that anyone has shocked me or surprised me like, man, that kid really came on. But, you see guys who had maybe lesser roles in previous years or up off the JV really elevate their game and become, guys, stalwarts, guys we can count on. And then returning starters, kid, I'll just pull one out of air. Jackson Maynard at defensive tackle played extremely well for us as a sophomore a year ago as a starter, but is significant. So obviously he played well, but he's playing at a significantly higher level as a junior right now through his work ethic and his natural athleticism.
And I know it's early to ask about district, but what do you expect out of district this year?
Well, it's probably as tough a well-balanced a 5A Division I league is around. We're still kind of feeling our way around because a lot of these teams we either haven't played before or it's been decades in some cases since we've played them. So, we don't know a whole lot about them, but you look at their programs and look at their recent track record and long-range track record. It's, there's 5, 6, 7 teams that are going to all be competitive for the thing, and we hope to be one of them. But we understand that it's pretty crowded at the top.
Definitely. Best of luck this week, and hopefully we'll talk to you later in the year.
Okay, very good, Chris. Thank you.
We also want to thank Grit Football Camps. They provide the opportunity for campers to interact with recruiters, athletic directors, and professional scouts to expand their chances to attend college. In fact, that is the point of Grit Football Camps, is to get their attendees enrolled in college. Whatever level their skills match, they've got ways and connections to help your student athlete make it to college. This camp is dedicated to expanding student athletes' recruitment knowledge and developing leadership skills. Campers will learn how to build relationships with recruiters and prepare for a life on and off the football field. Their camp will call upon the student athletes from area schools to connect them with college recruiters, athletic directors, professional coaches, and scouts that are willing to mentor each student to be successful in college and beyond. Grit football camps are held all around the country. You can check them out at gritfootballcamp.com. I tell you, Coach Larry Hill is a class act. It doesn't get classier. Consistent stuff, great program, great community, great football. Some of the other teams we'll be looking at this year in 5A, Cedar Park, Leander Rouse, Austin LBJ, and all these in the Austin area. Then we'll drop over to San Antonio. Alamo Heights is going to have a good team. Veterans Memorial in San Antonio is going to have a good team. Dropping down to 4A, of course, China Spring will be there. Waco La Vega looks pretty solid. Bernie looks to be pretty good. Canyon Lake is an awesome one. And Marble Falls. Interesting, I mentioned Canyon Lake. They're playing first week Wimberley, another team that's going to be doing some really good stuff there. They're in 4A D2, and one of the top teams in 4A D2 is Wimberley. So again, I lived in Wimberley for 6 years. My kids played in the Wimberley district, and I had to call Doug Warren and talk to him about what's going on with the Texans this year. All right, so Coach Warren, tell me about what's been happening this week with the Texans.
Well, Monday we dodged a little rain, which was I'm not griping about that whatsoever because it hadn't rained in so long. we were just glad to get it. But this week we're just preparing for our game with Canyon Lake, which is always just a tough physical contest, usually between two pretty good football teams, and nothing's really changed this year. I kind of see two good teams. I've watched them, in they're scrimmages, and really impressed with them, and I like where we are at through our two scrimmages, and so it's going to be a good one come Friday night.
And through those scrimmages, what have you seen? Are there some positions that you're going, wow, we're doing a lot better than I thought we were, or what have you seen so far?
Well, I think defensively, we lost 9 starters on paper, last year, and so everybody thinks that's a concern. But man, our defense has been really playing well, very physical. I like the physicality of this group and how they've progressed so far, and this will be a great challenge come Friday night. And then flip it on the other side, and I really like our run game so far. We've had some nice holes to run through. We've got 3 what I think are punishing backs, bigger type backs that man can wear you down with their size and physicality. So I think so far, as we look at where we're at, those are the 2 things that I'm really, really pleased with.
Definitely. And being that you're playing Canyon Lake, they're right up the road. A lot of these kids know each other. It's a rivalry, but it's also, I think y'all are working together to raise some peanut butter. Is that right?
That is correct. So we were approached this year by a group called the Peanut Butter Bowl. And what happens, this started several years ago between 2 teams down in the San Antonio area, and it's kind of blossomed into a much bigger deal. And so basically what it is that both of our groups are raising, taking collections for jars of peanut butter. And the good thing about it is that every jar that we collect here in Wimberley is going to stay in Wimberley. But they're going to partner with the local food bank. Every jar that's collected out at Canyon Lake is going to stay in the Canyon Lake area. So, to me, that's the special part of it, is that we get to help families in need that are in our direct area.
Oh, I love that. Now, a lot of people, they schedule pre-district games to see where they stand against some of the better teams in the state, but others are just trying to find things out. What is your philosophy on pre-district scheduling?
So my philosophy is that we are going to play as tough for people as we can find.
Right on.
I truly believe, this program expects, Chris, year in and year out to contend for a state championship. And to do that, you got to play great people. And, we're leading off of Canyon Lake, who's always a big challenge for us. Piper, a brand new school. That's a 5A. You got Brock, and you don't need to say anything about them. And then Fredericksburg is a traditional rival of ours and always a quality football team. And then Lampasas. And so the 5 tough quality football games for us to open the season. But to me, that's how you find out what your team is made of. And once you head off in the district, then you know a lot about them, as opposed to playing some people that might not be so good, or you might not know so much about your team when you get into those ball games that really, really matter.
Right on. Well, good luck this week, Coach, and I'm sure we'll be catching up with each other throughout the season. It's going to be another great Texan year.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it.
Take care, man.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. It's always a pleasure to talk with Coach Warren, and just kind of relive the Wimberley days. It's been a blast. Another team in the area, he mentioned in our conversation, Geronimo Navarro. They're going to be solid this year. Another community very close to where I lived. I know people that whose kids played there, kids who play there now. So I love Navarro. Look forward to them. Also, another one. In fact, we added this team as one of our ISD shows this year, and that's Lago Vista. So, of course, had to give Coach Creighton Phillips a call and talk about what's going on with Lago Vista. All right, Coach Phillips, Lago Vista Vikings, tell me, what have y'all been working on this week?
The Cameron Yeoman.
and all that they bring to the table. It's a pretty daunting task. Those guys are pretty good.
Yeah, I tell you, that game last year was amazing. A lot of people are saying it's not going to be so close this year. What are you expecting there?
First rattle out of the box, you don't know.
Right.
I think our kids are pretty confident going in this year, whereas last year there were so many question marks with so many new faces in different positions. The returners that we have this year, I think they feel up for any task. They know that Cameron's probably not real happy about the triple overtime game at their place last year, and they're going to be geared up and ready to go, and certainly talented enough to make life difficult for you. So I think their mind's in the right place.
And how about your team this year? I know you're still trying to figure a lot of things out, but are there one or two surprises that you've seen, some strengths that maybe caught you off guard?
Well, I guess I didn't maybe realize how important, the losses we had on defense, the fact that they were spread out. It was, only one kid from the secondary, one linebacker, one from the front, that the whole squad seems to know what's going on, and they've coached up the few in there that needed some reps. So they look way ahead of the game at this point. I think defensively we're going to be one of the best defenses I think I've ever put on the field. So I'm really excited about them. Offensively, we've got offensive line is lacking in experience, and so we're going to have to battle through some of that. I'm really proud of our running backs that have stepped in. We had a 3-year starter that graduated, and he pretty much got all the reps for the last couple of seasons. So relatively zero experience out of these guys, and I think they're going to do a really good job. My receiving core is they're veterans. The quarterback is coming back off a great season, and so they're hitting everything in stride right now, and they look really good.
Nice. And I know it's too early for this, but what do you think about the district? Because everything's new, and there's a lot of changes too. Yeah.
We're moving up a level, and there's been a lot of talk about that. We don't talk about it that much within our team. The kids, once the realignment came out, we knew we were going up, and we got put in with Wimberley and Navarro that are kind of monsters in Region 4, and some other talented teams around the Austin area. And so we're somewhat familiar, at least with Wimberley. We've been scrimmaging them for the last 7 years at least. So we see those guys. We know what they bring to the table, and we know that's going to be a pretty tall task. But we've loaded our boat in the preseason, and so we feel like at least we'll know what we're getting into once we get into district.
I love that. Well, Coach Creighton Phillips, I want to thank you so much for taking a few minutes, and hopefully we'll get to check in with you a few times during the year.
Sounds awesome. I appreciate you calling.
Thank you. Good stuff. Very good stuff going on with the Vikings. And I tell you, that's going to be a fun district for sure. Probably not if you're playing in it, but it's going to be a fun district for the fans, definitely. And remember, head over to LoneStarGridiron.com, because each and every week, Terry Bennett is doing a show with Coach Phillips for the Lago Vista Vikings. He will talk to them about every single game this year. Another 4A team, LaGrange. And then in 3A, we have Little River Academy, the Bumblebees. And I tell you, this is a team that caught our eye way back when we started Lone Star Gridiron, just because of the mascot. Yes, it does not strike fear, unless you suffer from, an anaphylactic shock or something like that. But, it's not like you think of bears and lions and tigers and all that. Oh, bumblebees. But they're going to be tough this year, so nobody's going to be laughing about them. Llano's another great team that's going to be doing some good stuff in Central Texas. And, of course, we've already mentioned them earlier. Cameron Yo, the Yeomen, are looking to be back. And they brought back Coach Rick Rhodes. Rick Rhodes, you may remember, took them to a state championship, I don't know how many years ago. it all blends together. But you got to love the Yeomen. We're going to be covering them. We're going to be covering a whole lot of Central Texas football. Oh, another one I just thought of, Converse Judson. I love Converse Judson. I love programs that have history, and this program has some of the best history. I am biased, yes, because I did write the book Rocket Man about Coach D.W. Rutledge. One of the people that I interviewed for that book was Mark Soto, who played for D.W. Rutledge, and also who happens to be their new head coach. And he is getting folks excited about the return of the Converse Judson Rockets, because it's time. They haven't been a power in a little bit of time, but they're bringing back some of the core. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how he does with that team, and hopefully he can turn things back around and return them to some of their former glory. Again, don't forget, call that call-in line, 713-568-6361, and we may play it on the show. We may just address it on the show. Either way, you'll get an answer. We'll respond. But each and every week, tune in here to the Central Texas High School Football Huddle to find out everything that's happening in Central Texas high school football.
You're listening to the Lone Star Gridiron Sports Network.
Hey, once again, I want to thank you for tuning in to the Central Texas High School Football Huddle. I want to thank our sponsors, Fat Cow Jerky, Corey Pack, State Farm Insurance, and Grit Football Camps. And I want to thank you, the listener, for tuning in. And if your favorite team is a Central Texas team and you'd like to hear more about them, call our voicemail line, 713-568-6361. You can leave a shout-out for your team. You can ask a question. You can say, hey, cover my team. Whatever it is you want. We'll play the best ones out on the air, or we'll take your advice, and we'll reach out to the people that our audience wants to hear from. I'm Chris Daly, reminding you to share and like this episode with your friends, but don't forget to go out and enjoy some Central Texas football.